Hello and welcome to this Condens demo. My name is Alex. I'm one of the co-founders of Condens, and we're a software company based in Munich, Germany. In this demo, I want to show you how you can use Condens to build a research repository with little effort. So obviously, we all want research data and insights to be usable in the future. We don't want to duplicate any studies simply because we didn't know someone else already did such a study. And we want to quickly find the research data we need when we look for it. However, creating a good repo requires a lot of discipline, hard work, and team commitment. When we did our own research before building Condens, we learned that if it requires an extra step to store the research findings in some sort of tool for future use, you will likely end up with an incomplete and poorly maintained repository. So imagine the situation: you have completed the research project, you shared the findings, the team is excited and already moves on to the next thing. And now you would have to move all of the data to Confluence or some sort of other wiki, describe what you did, add the tags again, and make it findable. This is the point where we have an incentive misalignment. So you have to put in additional effort now, such that someone who might not be you, potentially looking for the data in the future, can find it. It's an additional effort now for a potential future benefit. And this doesn't sound like a good deal. Our approach at Condens is to solve this, is to combine the data analysis and the repository into the same tool, into the same process, essentially. So our goal is to build the best possible qualitative data analysis tool, because this gives an immediate benefit to those using it. You save time, it's easier. And as a side effect, the data is categorized, searchable, and accessible to the entire team organization. So this is a quote from one of our customers who says that she doesn't need to evangelize Condens. People quickly see the value and want to use it for their next research project. And this is where we see that the better the analysis part, the more people who do research are inclined to use the tool, and the more the repo will benefit. So let me show you how this looks like in the tool. Firstly, I will show you how Condens supports doing the research process or project, makes this easier and faster. And then I will show you 3 concrete examples how Condens is used as a repository. This is how Condens looks like. It's a browser-based tool. That means you don't need to download any special software, and it works collaboratively, so you can work with others in real time. The setup is always the same. So we created a research project here. We have an overview page describing what the project is about and inviting others to collaborate. And then we have the participant section where we enter the raw data, the synthesis where we analyze the data across participants, and the conclusion where we have our findings. For the participants, each participant has its own page. That means this is where you store all the files, recordings, images, and where you have notes or transcripts. So this is the first step, bringing the data in. And then you can structure the data with tags. So simply highlight a certain sentence or fraction of text and assign 1 or more tags to it using the suggestions that we have here. These are AI-based suggestions to make tagging faster, looking at the text that you highlighted and trying to match it with the tags that you already created. Or you can search for an existing tag. And also select it from the list below. Tagging works on text, it works on images, and it works on audio and video files. So what our users really like to do is create clips of audio and video recordings that they can use to share with others and make their findings a bit more interesting. So in this case, you simply select the sequence that you want to choose
do when you're not working? Do you have certain kinds of hobbies or things that you like to do?
Yeah, I like to go shopping. I like to hang out outside with my...
Add a tag and a description, create a highlight, and use it just as you would use any other highlight. Whenever there's something interesting, you can use the conclusion on the right, which is essentially a space to document findings across participants. So this is where you can type any interesting insights or findings, and you can use any of the highlights from the interviews in this case, and simply drag them over to create a reference and support your findings with evidence. So that's the first step, bringing the data in, doing the tags. If you find something interesting already here, bring it over to conclusions such that you can build upon it later on. And once you've done that for all of the participants, the second step is how to analyze this across participants in a structured manner. And this is what we do here. So here we'll see all of the highlights that we created. In this case, it's 220 for this project. And we can essentially slice and dice the data, filter, segment, group, and look at it from different perspectives to identify patterns. So, for example, we could look at how people started with traveling and sort this by one of the user groups that we find interesting, traveler type. See how this splits up among different user groups. And again, there's the conclusion here on the right. So whenever we find that several people talk about a similar topic, we just select the respective highlights, pull them over, and can put them together into a cluster. So this is similar to affinity mapping, where you bring together similar statements and build up your findings like that. And this clustering, again, it works with text-based highlights, it works with images, it works with video clips. So you're free to combine and mix them as you like, and gradually build up your findings that way. And the last step that we have is the conclusion. So this is a full screen view of the same data that you've seen in the sidebar on the right, where you can add more text to it, more images, kind of finalize it before you share it out to others and give them access. And sharing is as easy as creating a link. That means others can access from the browser. They don't need to download anything. You don't need to have a Condens account. They can see the findings directly in the browser, including all of the evidence that you created and put in there. But obviously this is a read-only version, so they cannot change anything in here. So this was a quick run through how a typical project can look like. Now the question is, how do I use this for the repository? What do I need to do? And the answer is not much, actually. So everything that you have in Condens is already structured, organized, and searchable. So this is the same. This is the repository in effect. You may want to add a bit, adding the research method to make it easily findable in the future. But this is already it. So this can be used as a repository. And now, as I promised, I'm going to show you 3 examples how Condens can be used for that. The first example is that what researchers frequently ask themselves or get asked, what do we have about topic X, or research have we already done about topic Y? And this may come up frequently and can be easily solved in Condens. So we have this global search, which allows you to search through all of the data that you have in here. For example, if we want to learn how travelers plan their travels, let's search for plan, and we immediately get several results. You can sort them by project. We'll see that we have done 2 projects, prototype projects, family travel planner and group travel planner. We'll see that where participants talked about how they planned travels, where the tags that we have about this topic. So we have one travel planner tag, which relates to a feature request, and in which conclusions it was coming up. So this is a quick and easy way to use all of the existing data and build upon it. Obviously, there's again the conclusion here on the right. So you could again bring data over here and use any of the data that you found and to build up new insights or use that again. The second use case or example I want to show you is that when you want to do research on a topic for which you know there's already data existing spread in different projects. So you want to pull this data together and do some sort of meta study or build upon this. For that, and you can connect data in Condens using global tags. So global tags allow you to identify pieces of evidence across projects. And in this case, we created them for issues, for example, things like pain points, usability issues, bugs that can come up in any project, or feature requests, or steps of the user journey. And in this case, for example, we see that we have identified 45 pain points. And if we now jump into there, we have the same sorting and analysis functionality that we know from the synthesis process. So we can see that these pain points were identified in different projects, and we can again build up a new research based on that. So there's the conclusion on the right. We can build up new clusters and new findings from these kind of pulled together highlights from different projects. And this is also a good way to make sure that research or findings that you have in projects where the specific finding is not directly related to research question that you want to answer in this project, but it may be relevant at some other point. You simply tag it with a global tag, and you will always be able to find it and bring it in whenever it's necessary. And the third use case that I want to show you is when you want to give access to research findings to a wider team or even the entire organization. So this is something that we frequently see research teams do is they want to make research more accessible and basically let anyone find what research has been done in the past without having to go through research. So for that, we created a specifically designed interface, essentially a new interface, which we call Stakeholder Repository. And you can imagine this to be like a website for anyone in the organization to find past research. The reason this is a separate interface is firstly because it's reduced and focused on the needs of stakeholders. So it doesn't have all of the researcher functionality in there. And the other reason is that it acts like a publication for researchers. So researchers they have a safe space where they can work before they make the project public. And they can also have the possibility to hide user participant names and things like that for data security reasons, for example, and only share it once it's ready. So here in the research repository, I have several search and filter possibilities. And again, if I want to know what did we do about travelers planning their research, we'll find that we have 2 studies. And if I want to look at this by country, I'll see that one was done in Canada, and then the other study was done both in Spain and in Germany. And again, I can then jump in there. And this is where I'll see the conclusions. So I'll see what the findings were, including all of the media files and quotes and evidence that we put into the conclusion. So that was it. That was a short run through how Condens works, how you can use it to support your research projects, and how it can help as a repository. I can use it as a repository. If you have any specific questions or want to try it out, you can go to our website, condens.io. You can start a free trial there and also schedule a demo where we can have a personal talk and I can answer more questions to that. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.